welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you are new, hi, I'm Cora. Check out the description box below for links to all of my social accounts as well as my website, corashay.com. And let's jump right in the video because I'm so excited to be talking about 22 hobby ideas for 20-something women.
I can feel your heart pound beating like a kick drum. Love it when I'm this drunk. Ooh, yeah, I can find blind.
So at the beginning of the pandemic, I found myself in a situation where my hobby became my full-time career. Awesome, super exciting, super fun. But then I realized that I was spending every minute of my life working because I lost my hobby. So I went on a hunt to try to find a new hobby for me to start doing. And in that process, I realized there was a ton of information out there for hobby ideas for men, for older women, for teenagers. But I was really struggling to find ideas, like actually fun ideas, for hobby ideas for women in their 20s. And so I did a bunch of research, I asked around to my friends what their hobbies are, and I compiled a list of 22 hobby ideas for women in their 20s, and I hope that this is helpful for you and that you enjoy this. Of course, these hobby ideas would work for lots of people besides just women in their 20s, so if you're not a woman in your 20s, you might still enjoy some of these hobby ideas, but they're definitely aimed for girls that are about my age. I'm 24, kind of right in the middle of that, and I definitely think that these hobbies would all be super fun to start doing, and I will be starting some of them to see which ones actually work out the best for me. Number one is baking. Who doesn't want to do a hobby that ends with a delicious treat at the end? Like that's an absolute win-win. Number two is blogging. So this content creation blogging world is what I ended up turning into my full-time career, which was super awesome, super exciting. But honestly, it was my favorite hobby I've ever done. I started doing it years ago. I had actually tried in high school and failed miserably. But I think blogging is so much fun. It's a great way to share your passions and your interests and your knowledge with the world, and definitely something I recommend checking out if you don't already have any kind of blog. It can just be, Instagram. It can be like a social media blogging. It can be just an actual website. It can be anonymous. You can do vlogging, whatever you want. Number three is yoga. This hobby idea is wonderful because it not only helps you have a hobby that you can be really passionate about. I know everyone who is into yoga is so passionate about it, but it also helps your mind, it helps your body. Another win-win. Number four is embroidering, which when I had a couple friends mention to me that this is their hobby, I was like, what? But then I started digging on Pinterest and I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many cool things that you can embroider. Like, all those like t-shirts with the tiny little dainty flower right there? Like, you don't need to spend like $80 on that at Brandon Melville. You can just buy a Hanes t-shirt and embroider that yourself. So cute. Number five is photography. Who doesn't love taking pictures? Well, maybe a lot of people, but I definitely love taking pictures, and this is one of the hobbies that I've really started getting into. Of course, it kind of correlates to what I do for a living, but taking more just fun photography, taking nature scenery pictures, lots and lots of pictures of my dog. It's fun, and you don't have to have a professional camera to do this. You can absolutely shoot on iPhones. Like, the cameras on this thing are actually really awesome. So you don't need to invest a lot, that can be something you invest in later if you find yourself really liking this hobby. There are also tons of like master classes and stuff for information if you do have a professional camera on how to shoot with it correctly and tips and tricks. So definitely check that out if photography is a hobby you're interested in. Number six is journaling. Journaling is such a fun hobby idea that can really get you in touch with your thoughts and emotions. If you are the type of person who a hobby that's a little bit calmer and more introverted is for you, then definitely try journaling. I have a whole bunch of blog posts on different prompts for journaling in different situations. I will link those all below. I actually just released one for college students that if you're in college, which I know a lot of my viewers are, definitely go check that out. Number seven is DIY beauty supplies. This is more than just buying like DIY little kits. Like, you can get really into making your own hair masks, face masks, lip scrubs, and then like straight up makeup products, not just like beauty supplies. It's really creative, it's really fun, and it's something that you can, give to your friends if you get good at it. Number eight, plants and gardening. I know that this is a hobby that a lot of women my age have gotten really into, and men my age as well, of course, and that is being a plant parent. I am definitely getting very into this, though I have a lot to learn because my fill leaf only lasted about 3 weeks. It turns out you're not supposed to water it every day. Definitely follow my Instagram if you want to see that journey for me learning to become a plant parent, because trust me, green thumb does not come naturally to me, but there are so many resources out there, and it's super fun to kind of watch your plants grow and see what they're doing, like just watch that process and learn how to take care of different plants. They're not all the same, definitely a mistake I made. So this is a super fun hobby. Number nine is starting a podcast. This is something, a hobby I've wanted to do for a really long time. I don't think I have time for it right now, but if you do have the time for it, Everyone I've ever known who has started a podcast has absolutely loved it. You don't have to post like 3 times a week or anything crazy. Like, this is a hobby. You can just post occasionally or once a month. This is also really a fun hobby you could do with your significant other or with like your best friend or your mom or anyone. And I think podcasts where there's two people kind of going back and forth are super fun. Definitely a hobby to check out and consider, especially if you like to talk. 10 is to learn new languages. I had quite a few friends that said that this is kind of their main hobby and thing that they do in their extra time when they're not working. And it's so cool, especially now with everyone still having to kind of stay home right now. Learning a new language so that when you're able to travel, you can know the language of the place you're traveling to is such a fun thing to do. And it's so cool and it's educational. 11 is upcycling your clothes. This is not only, of course, something that's really fun to do and can, transform your wardrobe for like basically no money, but it's also great for the environment. If you have a piece that is, an old sweatshirt that's not really in style anymore and it's not something you ever wear and you were thinking about donating it or just throwing it away, you can always crop it. I think that every type of sweatshirt is in style right now if you crop it. So great for the environment and super fun and safe for money. Number 12 is hiking. This is one that you can get outside, you can get exercise. It's a great social hobby. I definitely recommend primarily hiking with others rather than by yourself, just for safety reasons. But it's a great way to get outside, to get exercise, take your dog with you, and check out your local state parks. It's a great excuse to go kind of check out your whole state and your whole area. 13 is candle making. I did this for the first time this year. It is so fun. And it's so great because the amount of times where I've smelled a candle and been like, oh, I wish it smelled a little more like this or a little less like that. You can just do it yourself. There's the DIY kits on Amazon. I'll try to link one below. I'll try to link the one I used below. But it's so fun. And if you have a candle obsession like me, you can just make your own candles, reuse the jars after you finish them. It's really not that expensive and it'll save you a ton of money if you are into candles. Number 14 is for my 21 plus viewers out there, and that is to make your own beer or wine. This is another hobby where it's great because in the end you have beer or wine to consume, and it's a great social activity to do. When your batch is finished, invite your friends over to taste test it. Maybe taste test it first in case it's awful. You have brewed before, beer and wine before, and there has been many a fail, so don't be afraid if your first batch sucks. Like, that's normal. Little tiny mistakes can happen that make it gross, but just try again. Number 15 is to start a bullet journal. This is a great creative hobby. It's a great hobby because you can do whatever you want with your bullet journal. It can be more of like a scrapbooky type journal, if that makes sense, or you can use it for organization, or you can just use it for fun. You can use it for habit tracking, whatever you want. Bullet journals are just full of endless opportunities. Number 16 is to try meditation. This is something I started doing the last few months when I realized that I needed to find a hobby, and this is one that's absolutely stuck. And it's a wonderful thing for your mind and for your spirit and everything like that. It's a great way to unwind if you are a stressed person like me. Definitely check out free guided meditations on YouTube. That's how I started, and I highly recommend starting like that. Number 17 is to start a book club, or if you're not feeling ambitious enough to actually start one, you can absolutely just join one. This is a great way to help you actually read every month because there is a level of social pressure to actually read the book every week or month depending on how fast your book club is. And it's a wonderful way to help you actually read, and it's a social activity as well. If you can find an in-person book club, once the pandemic's over of course, that drinks wine as well, those are always a win. Number 18 is cake decorating. Okay, this is different than baking because a lot of people out there, including myself, really like to decorate desserts, specifically either cakes or cookies or cupcakes, but I don't actually like baking them nearly as much. I find that when I just buy cupcakes from the store, they taste better than the cupcakes that I make. I will admit to that. But I like decorating them so much. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with that. Your hobby is whatever you want your hobby to be. So if you just want to decorate cakes or cookies or cupcakes or whatever and to not actually bake them, that's fine. Or just bake them from a box. Who cares? It's your hobby. It's what you want to do with it. 19 is another physical activity, a hobby that is wonderful, and it's a great way to get out and about and get some fresh air, and it is biking or cycling. You can also, of course, go to spin classes, which is another great social activity that gets lots of exercise every day. Hobby I highly recommend checking out and considering for yourself if you're looking for a hobby that also can work as your exercise. Number 20 is definitely the most meaningful on this list, and it is volunteering. I highly recommend trying to figure out what skill that you can bring to your community and volunteering in that manner. I do a lot of volunteering with helping with social media and website development, and I definitely recommend figuring out, what skills do you have that you could offer to your community. You can also check out my 51 random acts of kindness for your community post. I'll link that below as well if you don't necessarily feel up to fully committing to one organization and you want to try out some different ways to spread kindness. 21 is thrifting. Everyone I know who thrifts, it is definitely more like a hobby than just shopping is. And I am one of those people as well. When I go thrifting, it is like an entire day long activity. Of course, I'm not doing it much right now, but previously it was one of my favorite ways to shop and get clothes, to the point where it is a hobby because you spend so long digging through all of the racks and trying to find those goodies and those, magical items. And definitely a super fun hobby. If you've never been thrifting, go try it. Go see if you like it. See if it's your jam. Final hobby idea is flower arranging. This is one of the ones that I have not yet tried on this list that I really want to, because I think it is so cool. I think that people who always have like a fresh bouquet of flowers on their table are just like the most put together, amazing people, and I aspire to do that. I aspire to learn how to actually make bouquets and different flower arrangements. I'm thinking about maybe starting with faux flowers. Also, I think that might be better. We'll see. Regardless, I think that anyone who knows how to arrange flowers to make them look nice and like consistently has different arrangements for different seasons and holidays are the coolest people. So guys, that is it. I hope that at least one or two of these hobbies inspires you to try a new hobby or get a hobby in general. If like me, you don't really feel that prior to this video you really had that many hobbies or any hobby that you're interested in, I hope that this inspires you and reminds you that you can do whatever you want. And I hope everyone has a safe, wonderful day. Bye guys.